Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see today we are going to check something big. It barely fits into our camera view, but as you can see this is a new T-28 from Zvezda. It is molded in 1/35 scale as it's written here, and now it is available for purchase in any good model shop, so we have a chance to check commercial sample, what means you'll get exactly the same kit as what you will see in this video. So let's start. First of all, the size of this box might be surprising for some of you because it's a 1/35 scale kit, and here you can see comparison with my hand. It is impressive, and this box art looks really good. As you can see, now box is finished in this modern Zvezda style, which is quite bright. Then here on the side we have some information about the manufacturer, also small picture of the decals, some paint numbers on necessary shades for this build. As you can see, they are given in Zvezda and Tamiya paint numbers. Of course, some information about the manufacturer and also parts count here. So there are 454 parts inside, which is still impressive for a 35 scale kit. And finished model will have length of 21 centimeter. Also quite impressive in my opinion. Then here you can see from the rear side some pictures of the finished model, assembled model, also short history note in Russian and English, and again some information about the model. We are going to open this box as usual and check what is hidden inside. As for the box structure, it is typical for Zvezda, I would say, so we have this color printed cover, but it is not the main protection of this kit. What actually protects all the parts is this sturdy white, brown cardboard box, not white. And as you can see, that's a top-loading box. Here is what we have inside. So we have plenty of interesting things. Of course, assembly manual, we will check it a bit later. So let's just move it to the side and we will start one by one. So first of all, I would like to take a look at the biggest part in this kit. Let's zoom in a bit. As you can see, this is a main hull section, actually the lower section. As you can see, it is molded as one piece part, so you won't have to deal with those separate panels. You can also actually see those lines of the plastic flow, and you can see it on the light, but it's not crushable because it's not visible from the external side, obviously. And overall detailing seems to be fine. I don't see any possible problems with molding, so I think that's some decent kit part. And as you can see, also we have here these angles which should add rigidity to whole construction, because it's quite a long tank. Here you can see comparison with my palm, so it's really necessary element in my opinion. Okay. Next we have all other plastic sprues, which are packed into the same plastic bag. As you can see, they're packed as usual into sealed plastic bag. So we are going to need the scissors in order to open it and take a look inside. So just give me a second. Here we have the scissors, and let's open it. I'm just a bit surprised that we have some really thin parts there, which should be tricky to handle, and I'm a bit surprised that they're not broken. And they're not broken, I mean, I'm surprised because I was carrying it in a quite tight package, I would say. And they're still fine, so I guess you don't have to worry as well. Okay, so let's remove all this. As you can see, all parts are molded out of green plastic. I don't see any clear elements. Maybe it is good, maybe it is bad, who knows. But we are going to start with this sprue. As you can see here, we have the turret parts. And overall molding quality is really nice. Here you can see the antenna, which is molded as a one-piece thin part. Of course, it will be a bit tricky to separate it, but it looks quite nice. And I think installation will be easy this way. So now let's do the zoom mode so that you can see all those parts closer. And of course, you can appreciate the molding quality. Maybe I will try also to increase the ISO. Yeah, now it should be better, because before it was too dark. Okay, so let's start. Here we have the towing cable, and let's go, zoom mode. As you might have noticed, there are some separate hatches which can be used in order to place some figurines. As far as I remember, there are no figurines in this kit, but we will see. So that was the first plastic sprue, and then we have several absolutely identical plastic frames. So I'm just trying to count how many of them. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 plastic frames which carry absolutely the same set of parts. Why? Because of the quite complex suspension on this tank. So here you can see one of them. I won't show them one by one because they carry absolutely identical plastic parts, obviously. So here we have the rolled wheels which will have to be installed into the suspension. Here we have some spare tracks as far as you can guess here as well. And overall molding quality seems to be on the same level. So we can go on and do the zoom mode so that you can check all those parts closer. So let's zoom in, focus the camera, and zoom mode. Overall parts look really good, and you might have noticed these machine guns, they're molded as one-piece parts on only 2 attachment points. That's really impressive. And I also like how these track links look, because it's really nice quality. Maybe it will be a bit tricky to assemble them because of the size, obviously, but I think that's worth replacing the vinyl tracks and using such parts than to deal with vinyl parts. Then here we have another pair of the plastic sprues. Here again we have some suspension parts, but also here manufacturer included some of the turret parts, because as you remember this tank had more than one turret. So I'm going to show you only one plastic frame again. And note that here we also have the track length, here and here and here as well, which is really nice because you won't have to deal with separate track links in order to assemble a whole length. You just have one part, and it will noticeably speed up the assembly process. And note that here we have the separate hatches. Also here we have some suspension parts, drive sprocket for example here. So let's zoom in and do the zoom mode once again. As you might have noticed, there are some nice touches in the molding, I would say, because for example this hatch is molded separately, but still we have some detailing inside. It's a handle which is used to open, and here we have another handle which is pre-molded. Obviously that will be the main target for all aftermarket kits which will come out soon, so if you would like to replace it, I think it is also possible to do it with your own wire in order to get even better appearance. Then here we have noticeably bigger sprue. This one I think influenced the size of the box, and as you can see here we have parts for the main turret. We also have some parts for the 2 additional turrets, for the main hull, and also for the side skirts, which will have to be placed as one-piece parts, as you can see here. It might be a bit dangerous in order to get them aligned right, but I think still you will manage to do it because we have small tabs, position tabs, which will help you with alignment. Now let's zoom in and check all those parts closer, because it's also quite interesting thing. So we do the maximum zoom and going into the zoom mode. So overall we have quite an interesting parts division, I would say. And I think assembly process won't be really difficult because all the parts should be easy to combine. We have some guiding elements inside, and I think they will be helpful during this process. Nevertheless, we have one more green plastic sprue. This one, as you can guess, is dedicated to various hull parts, because it wasn't that much of the hull parts before. Here we have the top section, also side panels, also this one I'm not sure where it will go, I guess also on the top or on the bottom. I'm not sure because of these round things. Next we also have here the tarp and I'm not sure if it is worth using the plastic part, or maybe you'll try to replicate it with your own hands. We have the cooling fan, we have the engine bay cover, and as far as you can see, it is not transparent, so maybe P parts will replace it as well, the aftermarket ones. And here we have the various separate hatches. So let's zoom in once again and do the check. So here's the zoom mode. Let's go. So that was the last green plastic sprue in this kit, and now we can move on to various bonuses which are included here. First of all, of course, we have here this plastic bag with various additional things. So first of all is this decal sheet. As you can see here, we have all necessary symbols, I guess, for several marking options. Printing quality looks nice, and I think application will be easy as well. Next we have also the clear parts, surprisingly. So here they are. These ones will be used for the headlamp. And as you can see, molding quality seems to be fine. The only thing you will have to do is to carefully mask them, and then you will be good to go. And final bonus is a small section of mesh, which can be used for engine bay cover. Well, I can guess aftermarket PE will be targeting this thing as well. Next we have the painting guide. Here it is. Let's zoom out a bit. Painting guide is printed as a separate insert. As you can see, it is printed in color. Here we have two marking options. This one comes from Ukraine. This one comes from Belarusian military district. And then here we have the third marking option. This one comes from Lviv 1941. And also fourth marking option. That's January 1940 Soviet-Finnish War. So it's a typical winter camouflage. It will be up to you which one you will choose, but still it is really good that we have four marking options included here. And even the plain green one, you'll be able to play with color modulation, with weathering on this tank. So it's a really interesting subject. And don't forget that it's huge tank, so there will be some space to test your skills, let's say. or maybe some new ideas. Then here we have another insert. This one is dedicated to some safety devices. As you can see, it is printed in several languages. Nothing interesting, I would say. And last but not the least is this assembly manual, which is printed in black and white. We have short history note in Russian and English, also some safety advices, and again safety advices in several other languages. Here you can see assembly versions, so you can assemble tank either with open hatch and the machine gun and also the side skirts or side armor, or you can assemble them without side armor and closed hatch, and you can also open the hatch on this version. So it will be up to you which one you choose, but it's also quite a nice bonus, I would say. Next we have parts map here, and here we have the assembly process starting with the belly panel as far as I can understand, because those are suspension arms. And next we continue with parts for the second variant only. So it means if you plan to build this one with open side panels, you will have to use those parts. If you are not building this, you do not have to use those parts, so they will stay in your spare parts box. Here we continue with attaching this panel to the main hull section. As you can see, we also attaching the frontal armor. Then we continue with some suspension parts. We also assembled the turrets, as far as I can understand. And actually, these are not turrets, these are panels which house the turrets. Then here we have some suspension parts continued. This one is a huge fan which will be installed where? It will be installed into the rear section, obviously. Then we continue with drive sprockets, road wheels, and also the idler here. Here we continue with armor panels, and again I remind you that they will be used only for the first variant. So if you plan to build the open version, let's say, so then do not complete this step. Then here we continue with tracks. As you remember, tracks should be assembled out of those huge sections, so it will be relatively easy. The only thing which you have to build out of separate track links is those curved sections, but I don't think it will be really difficult. Here we continue with side skirts. They will be installed for both variants. Here we install the turret ports, also exhaust covers. Here we continue with machine guns in those special towers or turrets. Here we install the engine bay cover, and it's really interesting because this fan won't be really visible through this part, but still it is inside. So I just wonder why it was decided to do like this. Here we install additional Pioneer tools. Then we continue work on the main gun. As you can see, the main gun barrel is molded as a one-piece part. Here we choose either we want to open the hatch or we want to close it, so it will be up to you, of course. And again we continue with tarpaulin, separate hatches for the main turret, antenna, the main gun, and what else? And also the towing cables, which will have to be installed on the tank in the frontal section. As you can see, they will be attached to the frontal towing loops. And also here we have the side meshes, which will have to be closing the side panels, but I'm not sure if they should be used for the second variant. Just quite interesting. And that's pretty much all about this tank. In my opinion, this is a really interesting kit in such big scale. Of course, it will be a bit tricky for those who don't have experience, but it is surprisingly well, designed. So I can say that beginners can try it as well, because there are not that many small parts. Maybe you will have to be careful with alignment, but that's pretty much all. So if you feel confident enough, you can try this tank. It will be an interesting build in my opinion, and as I said, you can play even with typical green colored painting scheme. Still, it will be interesting to play with color modulation, weathering, etc, etc. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about this kit here in the comment section below. If you like this video, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can also support us financially by pressing the donate button on our website. And I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for watching and bye.